Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I don't know if you remember, but one of the ancient Greek virtues was courage. And courage is probably the most important virtue, because without courage you can't act in achieving the other virtues. So that's like a prerequisite for the other three. So we have an article here where we have a country, and this country has some elected representatives, so-called leaders, who are displaying a lot of courage. The country is not a strong country, and that is Hungary. Hungary is not a strong country. Hungary has a population of about 10 million people. It is a landlocked country. I don't know of any strong industry that Hungary might have. I don't know of any military extraordinary achievements that they might have, in a way that, oh, we have 50,000 nuclear warheads or anything like that. So by all measures is not a strong country. The thing is, it is part of some organizations, and those organizations have their structure is structured in such a way that they require the vote of Hungary. In this case you have the European Union. In the European Union, when the European Union would like to let's say impose sanctions on another country, all the member states will have to vote for it, and if you have one state that would vote against that, then the whole motion, the whole decision will fall, will not pass, because they need unanimity. So all of them have to be in agreement, otherwise they would not be able to proceed with the sanctions in this case. As you know, the European Union tries to sanction this, try to do this, try to do that. I give the sanctions just as one example because we are in the times of sanctions on Russia. The European Union wants to send some billions of dollars or euros to Ukraine. And that is not in the interest of many countries of Europe as a country. There are other economic reasons that certain countries can say, okay, that's beneficial, which is maybe the arms industry. That would be one of them, or the banks. The problem is both of these two areas are dominated by foreign companies. Banking system, international bankers, not European necessary, and I'm talking about Americans and who knows what else. And then you got the arms industry, which is dominated by the US military industrial complex, by the companies that are located in the United States. So you can't compete. Your door is closed. The door is closed for your companies to access the market, even if you would be a good competitor. So in this case, what did Hungary do? Well, it will veto another round of aid for Ukraine, and this aid would be about $19 billion. So this article comes from Sputnik, and it comes from today, the 2nd of December, 2022. Hungary to veto EU-Ukraine aid plan, Prime Minister Orban says. Budapest will hold its stance, and Hungary won't approve an European Union plan to grant a $19 billion package to Kiev in 2023. Prime Minister Viktor Orban said, and I'm quoting, "The question is how to help Ukraine. One proposal says that we should use the budgets of the European Union member states to take out new loans together and use that money to give to Ukraine. We are not in favor of this because we do not want the European Union to become a community of indebted states instead of a community of cooperating member states," Orban noted. So what is he saying? He's saying that we don't want to get in more debt for that country, and then we, instead of cooperating, we're just going to be at the order of the banks. And besides, who's paying for that? The citizens of Europe. And $19 billion, you might say, well, it's not that much. Well, why should you pay? Let's go with the principle. Why? What do you have with Ukraine? And then it comes that little childish justification. If you don't defend Ukraine, the Russian boot will be at your door the next morning. Well, okay, that's one. The other one could be, well, it's unfair what the Russians are doing to unprovoked attack on Ukraine. Well, you know, that's a lot of information that the Russians, if you listen to them too, you know, you should, because when you have an argument between two parties, you don't listen only to the one that you like, okay? You listen to the other one that you might not like, in this case Russia. And I'm pretty sure, I know that Russia could provide you with a lot of justifications why they got to this, and they can point their finger to someone else who should be dragged into this and say, see, that's actually the guilty one. Alright, but we can't do that because that owns Europe. So this is what Orban doesn't want. Now that's another thing. I don't know if you were involved in meetings where, let's say, there were a few members or people present in the meeting where they thought in a certain way and they wanted the company to go in a certain direction. And then is a conversation and people that are scared or they don't have the courage that I started with to speak up. And let's say challenge the CEO or the owner, and they will not stand up and say, you know what, this is what I think. I think the current policies, the current direction of the company suck, because that would make whoever made a decision before suck, and that is like, hey, your decision was wrong, we gotta change it. Then you need courage for that. And then the thing is, when someone like this has the courage to stand up and say, okay, this is my assessment of this, and since we are allowed to speak here and for the benefit of all of us and the company, that's why we are here, I think these are the things that need to be implemented, and the policies that we have need to be improved. That means that we're not as good as they should. It's okay, we learn, we can improve. These are the points, and we can change them into this by doing this. So you provide, you know, the helpful steps to improve it. Now you are a courageous person if you do that, because there are some people who might not like what you say. Not because it's not true what you say, it's because they feel that that will attack them personally, because your decisions were wrong and this is the good one. It's not that. You just want to help, you want to improve, that's your job. But it depends how those people are taking it. People that can affect your employment and your life, your economic well-being, right? The thing is like this, you have a lot of people in the room that might agree with you, but they keep their mouth shut. Why? For the same reason I mentioned at the beginning of this video, the virtue of courage. And instead of saying, yes, I think you're right, yes, I support your proposal, yes, I think that is a very good idea, we can try that, let's do this, let's do that, that action of courage would expose them to this person's possible retaliation, or persons possible retaliations. So in this case you have Hungary. Hungary stood up and said, you know what, we don't do this because of this. How many countries do you think do not, how many countries do you think the same way as Hungary? I think most of European countries think the same way. Who wants to get a loan for someone else? Do you? Would you get a loan for your neighbor? I wouldn't. I mean, unless as my friend, I would give him money, and if I don't have the money, yeah, I will do that, if it's a friend and all that. But there's no friendship over here, and you ask for too much. You ask too much. I mean, I can help you to a certain extent, but then over that amount, I feel very hard pressed to help you. What I'm trying to say is Hungary, with courage, stood up alone. But I guarantee you, there are many other countries over there who think the same way, and they think, oh, thank God they said it. But imagine that Hungary would have not said it. The other countries, they would say, oh, fuck, would be unhappy. And you would be like, what? At least say it. Well, you're afraid to be singled out. By who? By the boss? But again, Hungary is not a strong country. You know, there are other countries in Europe that could get more affected by the loan and aid for Ukraine, their economies are going to go down. Not Hungary's economy, Germany's economy. And they don't say anything. Do you think that they're not happy with Hungary? I think they are. And I think that most European countries are happy with what Hungary said. Why? Because it's against their interest to get a loan for something that they don't want to get involved in. That's the easy, fast answer. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see. Courage comes with responsibilities and a lot of risks, obviously. And the risks here for Orban is to have a little bit of a revolution in his country, a spontaneous one, if you know what I mean. Let me get my violin, yeah. A spontaneous one, and the people have spoken. Yes, how many? 3,000 people, and the rest of, I don't know, 10 million are in their houses, quiet. The same thing as in the European Union. You have Hungary saying something, everybody else don't support it. That's why a lot of leaders in our history who spoke up or got involved in certain kind of actions, well, everybody was, yes, I support you, Emil, yeah, you do a good job, Emil, great, yes, 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 yes. And when Emil gets in trouble, where are they? And they get hanged, they get guillotined, they get all that. So this happened too many times. Why? Because that's the way we are. We lack the first ancient Greek virtue, courage. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.